Hey guys, it's Courtney with the Kitchen Garden, and I'm back to talk more about grains. My last few videos have been about how to mill your own grain at home and the different kinds of grains that I use most often milling flour at home. And so today I'm going to talk about where do I get my grains. It's not really the kind of thing that you see just sitting on the grocery store shelves at all grocery stores. So how do I get them? And how do I store them once I have them here? So let's talk about that. Okay, so let's start with where do you purchase grains? And there's a couple of options that you've got. They don't all have to be in bags like this. So if you're just getting started with milling grain, then I would suggest looking at your local grocery store. Bob's Red Mill will usually carry grains in smaller packages, like 1 pound packs, if you just want to give it a try. You might also try a local bulk store. So I did this when we first started so I could try different types of grain. And the bulk store is great because you can get what you want, different varieties. You don't have to get a huge bag. And it's a great way to really try the field on the type of grains that you bring home, and you don't have to commit to a huge bag before you know if that's something that you really want 25 or 50 pounds of. So checking out a local bulk store or even a grocery store. In fact, our local Big Lots used to carry, and still does to a degree, Bob's Red Mill whole grains. And so from there I was able to try kamut and soft white wheat and teff and a few other things. So definitely something to check out, okay? Another option, which is pretty easy for most of us, is to order from Amazon. So this bag of einkorn I got from Amazon, and this is a 5 pound bag. So just, you know, like a standard size bag of flour. I haven't gotten to where I use einkorn all the time, although I do enjoy it. So this has given me a chance to play around with it, to use it in some of our breads, but not in everything. And I only committed to a 5 pound bag, so that's pretty nice. Amazon does have larger sizes of grains and smaller as well. So if you're not in a place that has a bulk grocery store, or even a place that has a store that has whole grains, especially in more rural communities perhaps, then ordering from Amazon might be the trick. Like, we live in a small town in eastern North Carolina, and though our Big Lots did carry it, that's pretty much the only place in town that carried whole grains. So they don't really have it anymore. So you can always order from Amazon, okay, in various sizes. Okay, next, Azure Standard. This big old bag of soft white wheat came from Azure. I order from them about once a month. And if you're not super familiar with Azure Standard, essentially you can order from their website. I'll put the link below, and you can get your products one of two ways. So the first is you become part of a pickup, and so you can see their map, you see the different areas that they will drive a truck to, and they will offload orders there, and you just come during a certain slot that day and pick up your order. So this is really, like, if you want to order things in bulk, this is the way to go. The other option for Azure is to have it shipped directly to your home. So if there isn't a drop anywhere near you, you can pick home delivery. So it's not going to be as cheap as things getting delivered from Amazon, but this is a family-owned company, and I've been super pleased with their products. So that's another option for you to consider. So that's Azure Standard. Now the other option that I mentioned before, it was about bulk stores. The other choice that you have, we have a store, it's actually owned by Mennonites, it's about 45 minutes away, and I can't remember how I happened upon it. I think it's just word of mouth. Someone told me that they carried bulk grains, not that you could buy just a pound of, but they had big bags of grain. And it's literally out in the middle of nowhere, but it's worth the drive sometimes to go and get a 50 pound bag of grain, and to support them as well. There's also a delicious bakery, so if you want the name of that one, it's in Beulahville, and it's fantastic, the Country Barn. So anywho, you might have a store just like that in your area as well, so it might be worth asking around, especially if you know other people who happen to mill whole grains. That's also a great way to support a local family-owned business and still get good quality grains. Okay, so let's talk about what in the world are you going to do with all these grains once you have them at home. All right, so if you get a 5-pound bag or a 1-pound bag of grain, it's really not that hard to store. Once these are opened, if I don't have a container, a glass container or a plastic container that I fit them in, then I'll take this and put it in a Ziploc gallon bag. No problem. And then I can clearly see the label, so that's super helpful. Grains have an extremely long shelf life if you'll just keep them dry and honestly in a dark place. So they last for a long time, years and years. So that's something good. It's another reason why you should consider grains, because they're just a good thing to have on hand in case, think about 2020 when things got really weird and it was hard to come by products. So having a little stockpile of grain, it's not a bad thing. Okay, even if you can't mill them, for example, if power goes out, you can still cook all these grains and eat them that way. They don't have to be milled into flour. So you can store them in the bag in a Ziploc, you can store them in a glass container like this, okay? But what if you have more? Like, what am I gonna do with this 50-pound bag of grain? Let me show you. Okay, what I have here is a food grade pail, and you can order these. This one I ordered from Azure, but you can also order them from True Leaf Market. They've got really good quality storage items as well. So this isn't just something I picked up at Lowe's, although it kind of looks like a Lowe's or a Home Depot bucket. Okay, so the great thing about these pails is they can be labeled and they can store about, I think I've determined, 45 pounds of grain in it. And most pails come with a standard kind of snap-on lid, and I'll show you how to open that in a second. But this one I got with a lid that can be turned. Let's see, I haven't attached this lid yet. This bucket is empty. Okay, it's called a Gamma Seal lid, and you can see it's nice and empty. The ring hasn't been attached yet, so before or after I put the grains in, I'll literally have to mash this down until it snaps into place, and then the Gamma Seal lid will twist on. I can't recommend enough how great these are. I have a few in the bottom of my pantry and then another closet in the hallway where they can just be slid in and out, and I'll use them to fill up my larger containers. I'm not using these on a day-to-day basis, although you certainly could if you had the access to them. The lid makes all the difference in making them easy to use, okay? Like I said, most of these types of buckets, especially if you order from True Leaf, will come with a different lid, like just a sealing lid, and those are fine. I'll show you how to pry them off because that's literally what you have to do. But pouring your grain in here and sealing them up will keep them fresh. You don't have to worry about what if I didn't close the bag all the way, what if bugs get in, because of course when you're dealing with grains, bugs are a real issue. You don't want to allow access to your grains. And then if you happen to, there has been the time once before where I'd ordered a bag of grain, and after a few months I noticed bugs in it. I assume they had come in the bag. But because it was sealed up on its own, I was able just to pitch that particular grain, wash the container really well, and start again. So these will help keep bugs out, which, as you know, is always a plus. And I would say even if you're in a place that you have issues with mice, this is pretty tough stuff. So let's talk about, if you get the regular lid, what are you going to use to open it up? Okay, so if you happen to not get the Gamma Seal lid and you have some storage containers that you're going to use to store your grains, and you need to open it up if this were snapped into place, then you would use this pry, specifically made for the buckets. It's got this curved piece right here on the end of it, and you just have to link it around and pop it up. This might be why I have shoulder problems now. No, I'm just kidding. Could be. But anyways, it's kind of tough. It's totally doable though if that's what you've got. I've slowly started replacing all the lids on my buckets with these Gammas, And True Leaf Market actually has them in a variety of colors, which I think is really fun. And it allows me at a quick glance to tell the difference between the different grains that I've got stored in buckets like this. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I primarily order my grains either from the bulk store. I just go and buy them. I'll call them first to see if they have in stock whatever I need. I'll order from Azure Standard about once a month or as needed, and I've never had a problem with any of their grains. Or you can order off of Amazon. I've got a link to my Amazon store below so you can see the different grains that they have available. I also have a link below to my Azure account, which is an affiliate link, but you'll get a bit of a discount when you start and see how you like it. If you don't like it, no worries. If you've got questions, always feel free to reach out. Happy to answer those. But this is how I buy grain in bulk. Thanks guys. Have a great day.